And today we're going to do brake pad removal and installation. So we're basically changing the brake pads, the front brake pads only today. We're going to change the front brake pads, and this is the first time I've done it. I'm going to have zero help, so I probably should have looked online and stuff. But I have a pretty good idea of what I'm supposed to do and what's going to happen. So I'm going to use 12 millimeter, what do you call this thing? Deal. And we're using a size 5, whatever, Allen key wrench, hex key wrench, whatever you want. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do. What's gonna happen here? It says brake pad removal. Loosen the holder shaft. Whoops, you can clearly see me. Here, let's start this again. Loosen the holder shaft. And if you could see, it's right there. I'll show you the holder shaft. Remove the caliper and remove the pads. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you what they're talking about. One moment. Alright. The holder shaft, I think there's two. So one right here and one right here. So this is the front brake caliper. There's a holder shaft here and a holder shaft here, I'm assuming. And here's the mounting bolts right here. These two mounting bolts. So the instruction says to loosen these up a little bit, remove the caliper. I'm not going to remove the hose because there's, it's a hassle. And then I'll remove the pads. So I'm going to do this with two hands, and dang it, I forgot, my tripod's supposed to be here today, so hopefully there's going to be a tripod here. Anyways, so I got the brake pad, the actual caliper off. I'm going to let it hang because I don't feel like taking the hose and doing this stuff. Here's the pads. So I'll show you the pads afterwards when I take them out. They're pretty much gone. This is the fitting where it fits onto there. And here's the shoes and the pads. They're pretty much gone. Anyways, I'm gonna try to take them out. What you do by taking them out is you take out the bolt. It's like a what are you called? What are they called? They're called holder shafts. So you're going to take out the holder shafts, and then I think the pads are going to fall out, basically. And then I'm going to reposition the new pads. I'll show you the new pads later, and then we'll see what happens. So I got one holder shaft out. Here's the holder shaft. If you could see it. Got one holder shaft out. I'm taking the other one out, and then yeah. So got the holder shafts out. The holder shafts are out. The brake pads pretty much fell out. And here's one brake pad. Here's the brake pad. And it's pretty much totally gone. Let's see if we can get a better view here. Can you guys see that? It's not really focusing, but it's pretty much gone. This side is pretty much gone. So I'm glad I changed it just now. It's been about 7,500 miles. And this seems pretty typical for the 250 front brake pads. So basically what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna get the new brake pads, put them in there, push the cylinders back, put them in there, and then install the shafters again, the holder shafts, and then I'm gonna reinstall it, and then make sure you get the specified torque on these because you don't want your caliper falling out. I took out the shafts, what do you call it? The pads fell out. And what I did is, you see these little bronze cylinders here? There's two circles. There's two circles, those bronze cylinders. I'll show you what I did. I'm going to try to... What I did is here, I'll show you right here. Hopefully I'll show you. What I did is I took my finger here and I squeezed like this. I squeezed this so the cylinders moved into their pistons. Let me show you the new brake pads and we'll show you the old brake pads. Here's the old brake pad. You'll see the thickness of this brake pad. It's pretty much definitely gone. It's the old brake pad. Here's the other old brake pad on the same caliper. Those are the old brake pads. Here's the new brake pad. Oh yeah, massive braking. These are the EBC HH brake pads. These are supposed to be very, very good. So hopefully I don't die braking. Hopefully they're really good. Maybe I'll have a difference, maybe not. I want to get stainless steel brake lines, but I'm gonna sell this bike in a while, so I don't really want to dump money into it. So I'm gonna install the new brake pads. I'm gonna put the shafts back in, and then I'm gonna install it back to its original position, and then we'll see what happens from there. All right, so I just did like the most retarded, dumb move. I was trying to replace my brake pads, and I was trying to put the pistons back, and I was like, man, I'm really scared about my my level going, like coming out of the reservoir, and it was getting kind of close. So I put a towel around it right here. I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. So I took the cap off completely, put it on the ground. I took the cap off completely. It was like, you know, you could see the fluid in there. And then, so I went over here, and I was like, huh. Then I pushed the piston in, and it was really easy to push in. Once I pushed that, just brake fluid went like in the air, and it didn't go on the ceiling. When it went out of the reservoir, it squirted up. It went on some of my paint and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, it's crazy. So I ran over here, got a towel. I ran back, and I was like, oh no, and I was saving all my paint and stuff with the towel, and then I was like, oh, this towel's not gonna do anything. So I ran over here. I was like, oh no, and then I turned on the water. I put the water on the rag, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Brake fluid on my paint. And then I was taking the rag with the water, and I was just like, oh no. Anyways, so basically, overall what happened was, okay, this is the moral of the story. Do not take off your cap. Do not take off the reservoir cap and apply either the front. Don't apply this at all, and don't push the pistons back in with this off, because it's gonna be like whoosh. It's gonna rain fluid on you, and you know, brake fluid on you. And basically I got it right here, a little bit right here, I got a little bit right here, and I got inside here, got over here and stuff. But I cleaned it all up, so I'll clean it later. I'll wash it down and stuff when I'm done with all my maintenance. Anyway, so yeah, don't do that. That was really stupid of me. I mean, this is the first time I've ever changed brake pads in my life, and I don't have any help whatsoever. So I'm kind of just winging it. So yeah, what happened, I took off the cap here, the brake reservoir cap. I pushed the piston in real easy, and then it started squirting like whoosh. So I scrambled to clean it up, and then I scrambled to put this thing back on and tighten it up, and it's probably over tight now because I kind of scrambled it, and it looks like it's leaking a little bit. Just from the here's the rag. It's like dirty. Just from the there we go. Yeah. I'm gonna check if there's any more leaks. If I can see. No other leaks or anything. Anyways, dumb move on my part. Don't do that. Take it from me. That's how to not change the brake pads by Rebel 91. The next clip here, the next little cutoff, will be hopefully a successful one. Alright, so this is the completion of your pad replacement, your brake pad replacement, and it was kind of difficult. I'll tell you what happened basically. So make sure this is tightened, of course, this part right here, this master cylinder, the master cylinder cap, tightened. Make sure it's like that. Now, I had this off, and basically what you want to do is you want to take those pistons that were there, and you want to push them all the way as far as like the service manual says, as far as it will go, because you're going to need that clearance to get into this rotor. So what happened was there was this really small clearance. It's like, imagine my hand as the brake pad. Really small clearance for the rotor. So what I did is I had to position the caliper properly. Like I had to kind of pick it up a little bit and kind of aim it, like while looking this way. I had to look like that and aim it on there. And then I kind of had to like push it pretty hard against it. And I don't think there's any damage to the rotor at all because I kind of checked it. So basically you align it with these two bolts, the bolts here, and you tighten up to specs. I didn't tighten up to specs because I'm going to tighten it all. Tighten all the bolts later because I'm not going to ride it ever. And then once your brake pads are all good and whatnot, like they're tight, everything's tightened. These two, mounting, the shafts are tightened. Make sure the shafts are tightened really good. These two bolts are tightened to spec. The shafts are tightened to spec, like I said. And then you want to do your brake lever a couple times. The first 2 times it went like this. It went whoosh, whoosh, all the way down here. It went like 1, 2, and then it went like this. Because the pistons have to meet with the pad, and so yeah. Hopefully, it was kind of strange, and it didn't look all that, the best of a job installing it, concerning putting the pads in. The pads, I'm assuming, get aligned with these 2 things, and I don't. If they're aligned with these 2 things, I'm assuming they're fine, because it didn't look all that, amazing. But they do look symmetrical on each side, and the part where it's up in the back of the caliper, this is supposed to go around this little shaft part. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to figure that out, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to be very cautious on the front brake the first time I use it. And there's also, look on your pad instructions. Your pad instructions may say that there's going to be a break-in limit. My break-in for this pad is like 250 miles. So, yeah, it's like 100 degrees outside, so I'm like sweating a little bit. Anyways, finally I got the brake pads changed. I'm very happy. It looks like a good installation. It looks really solid on there. So, if I press this, it feels like it's getting pretty tight on there, so we're doing great. I want to do an overview of the brake pad removal and installation, brake pad change. And I want to do an overview because it took me about an hour to do it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it was my first time doing it ever without any help at all, and et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to do an overview of all the steps that went through it, so I'm clear about the steps that I did it as. So basically what happened, hopefully this is a 1-minute video. What happened was, this is what you do. You loosen up the 2 shafts, they're mounting shafts, I believe they're called. The 2 shafts, you loosen them up, just loosen them up, they'll come out in just a bit. You completely take off these bolts, take the caliper out of off the rotor here, take it out. I like to let it hang from this because because it's in the service manual, it says to detach it and everything, and anyways. So you have the caliper hang. After that, you take out the mounting shafts, they come completely out, your pads will practically fall out, and then basically what you do is this is the tough part. Basically, this is the main thing you want to do is take the pistons and squeeze them all the way as far as they will go into the shafts. And when that happens, brake fluid will increase, rise in your reservoir, and it might shoot out, it might, overflow, etc., etc. So you want to keep an eye on that. What I did, honestly, don't comment about this or anything. What I did honestly is I took a turkey baster and I took a little bit out of it. Took a little bit out. I put it in a container over there. Took a little bit out with a turkey baster. It's still good. This is the final result. It's still good. So that's what I did. And then you put the pads back in. You align the pads with the mounting shafts. You put the mounting shafts all the way through. And then you make sure that the mounting shafts are tight as crap. You get them. You move the pads so that you have room to get into the rotor. Then you put the caliper onto the rotor. You put that onto the rotor. You line up these 2 mounting bolts. Put the mounting bolts in. Lock them in there. Go to specified torques on that one. Specified torques on the mounting shafts. And then up here, you're gonna want to press the brake so it feels normal. After you press the brake a few times, like 2 or 3 times, it'll feel normal. You're all set. Check your fluid level. If it's not right, adjust that and change that bad boy out. Make sure this is tight, of course, as I said. And so yeah, that's the new brake pad right there. So yeah, that's how to change your brake pads. At least the front. Maybe the rear I'll do later. And so to recap, pretty much don't have the reservoir cap off. and touch this or the pistons, because then you're gonna have brake fluid like having a fountain. Alright, yeah, I'm not a professional. If you have any questions or comments, comment this video, message me, whatever. Hope you enjoyed this video, and see you later.